Djibouti, Mauritania, Nigeria, whoever. They participate. We have 16 countries participating. We have 4 from South Africa, locals from Khayelitsha, all the townships.
Sorry, excuse me, please, can you just go straight to the question,
Yes,
please,
yes,
if you don't mind?
In fact, this is more of a statement that communities are taking initiatives. Like this is a live, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah. In the month of May, we always played a tournament. We are currently playing a tournament. It's on. I'm inviting everyone. You can come and see me. We want your support. Minister, I'm happy that we are here. We want your services as the Home Affairs to come through, because we want to offer your services to our participants, as we have the South African Defence Force doing the work with us, and the South African Police, and Parliament is on board as well. So what I'm saying is, even your organization say, we want to extend our invite to you. Come and see our programs as well. Okay. For us, it's happening now. It's 5 years in the making. It's a winning program.
Thank you very much. It's actually ended up not being a question. Surprise. Okay, the second person. Okay. Okay, I think over to you, sir. Yeah, that was the second. Okay. Please, let's just go straight to the question, please.
Yes, thank you. I represent a company called Global Migration, and we assist whether people are refugees or students or corporates in immigration matters, and a lot of the work we do with refugees is for free. And I say there are 2 parts to this, as a statement and a question. The first thing is I operate as a professional, and secondly, I operate as a citizen. From a point of view of constitutionality, I find it extremely distressing that we deal with officials at all levels, and I don't want to name names. It's a general pattern in the department who do not treat people very well. That's number one, across the board. And that is a point, I think, that would make the most patient person extremely angry, to refer to Fani's comment. Second thing is, I'm dealing with a matter this week where a family has to be split, where the Constitution does not allow families to be split. Foreign family with a South African spouse, you cannot constitutionally split them. The officials are splitting the family. We actually have to go to court for something which is a simple administrative decision, and it's expensive and time consuming, and all the rest. I think that, and we're all speaking frankly here, I think that the departments involved, as the Minister's indicated, not just Home Affairs, across the board, really need to get people on board who are able to assist them with consultation. And it needs to be a long, detailed, deep process, so that we don't have things imposed from the top that really do not add to people's well-being, etc. The last thing is, it's very well known in this community, and you might not want to say it, but I'm going to say it to the Deputy Minister, you have a massive problem with ongoing corruption, and you really do need to address it. And that causes deep anger, deep problems. It is probably the primary cause of your security issues that you raised earlier.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll just take one more question, and I will just allow the Minister to answer that first round of question.
Good evening.
Yeah, I think I spotted you.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, great. Hello?
The mic is over here.
Oh,
At the
okay
back.
then. Okay then.
Good evening to the House. My name is Faith Tererai, and I'm a youth champion who's working with young people within the South African community. And originally, I'm from Zimbabwe. And I've been here for the past 13 years, and my work has been with young people who are most of the times are pure South African citizens and not foreigners. And I'm very much aware that some of us who are sitting here today know about the Sustainable Development Goals, and the particular Goal 16, which deals with peace, safe, and security. And my question here today is, where does our provincial and national government stand in educating South African citizens about Goal 16? As I believe that if we all put heads and hands together, South Africa will be working towards a bigger vision, which is peace. And if we start working towards getting peace in South Africa, we can get peace within the broader nations of Africa. So it begins with us. And I'll re-emphasize my question. Where does our provincial and national government stand in educating our fellow South African citizens about the MDGs and Sustainable Development Goals?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I will just allow the Honorable Deputy Minister to respond. Over to you, ma'am. Great. Yeah, it has been suggested that we take more questions, and then she wants to respond, and then we'll just be. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Please do that. Okay, over to you. Yes. Please stand up and get a mic. Oh, okay. I'll come to you. Please, just straight to the question. Thank you.
Good evening. I just need to be very quick, actually. My first question was going to Premier Helen Zilla, but I think she has already gone. But my second question is going to the Honorable...
sorry, excuse me. Can you ask the question? We have people, we have a way of getting the question to her.
Yes, yes, I'm coming.
Okay.
I have to mention the person that I'm directing my question to.
Okay.
Yeah. Deputy Minister, as you are very well aware that we are trying to, the government is working very hard, and congratulations for that in the first place. Secondly, there is actually a very big backlog within the Department of Home Affairs itself. You can see people who came into this country 10 years ago, still having refugee papers. Some of them, they have got the section, what is that section? The 6 month, section 22. Some of them have got the refugee status, which is section 24. Some of them, most of them are even contributing into the economy. You know, most of them are skilled migrants, but because of the corruption, because of the problems within the department itself, it's not getting anywhere. Is there any kind of a system to try and help this kind of people to give them proper documentation? I think that's all my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hello?
Okay, and I'll go to you now. Okay, please can we have the mic for you?
I got the mic.
Hello?
I got the mic. I'm here.
Ole.
I'm here.
Sorry, I got to give priority to this guy. Hello?
I'm over here.
No, I'm talking about him. I spotted him first. Please, can you stand to take the mic? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Joseph Piri. My question revolves around the current work that the Department of Home Affairs is doing. It is my understanding that they are in the process of re-evaluating Section 24 permits and looking at the Cape Town office. There is one person who's particularly responsible for that, who's compiling, I believe it's the biometric report. It's only one person who's compiling that. And I also believe that those matters are referred to the standing committee. And the standing committee currently has a backlog. Okay. And people that are affected with the re-evaluation, they are given just receipts of appointments. And those appointments keep on being postponed. So that's actually creating more work where there is backlog and there's more work being created. There isn't enough persons or people allocated to do or to compile the reports. So that's posing a risk which the minister spoke about. And
please go to the question, please.
Yes.
What's the question? Okay. You got it? Oh, great. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, can I ask
yeah,
now?
you can go
Thank
now.
you. Thank you very much. My name is Cedric. I represent Aurism. Mine is not about migration. It's about Africa. It's about the world. Mandela said, sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great, and you can be that generation. We can't blame the South Africans for xenophobia. We can't blame ISIS. We can't blame the Europeans for their apartheid systems. There is something not right since the days of Cain and Abel, and that is a spiritual system that is faulty. Since 4,000 years, we are still facing the same problems. Africa cannot move forward without shedding off a faulty spiritual system. I would like to come down, introducing to each and every one of you that's inside of this conference, a new spirituality based on the African Ubuntu, and that is Awarism. Embrace Awarism. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, over to you, sir. Can we have the mic for him, please? Okay. Excuse me, for him? Okay. Where is the mic for him? Can you take the mic, please? Okay. Please, straight to the question, please. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just go straight to the question. Actually, I don't know how many questions I can ask, but I have many questions, but let me make it short. Wow. Okay, I think maybe two. I'm going to ask two. My question, first of all, goes to the Deputy Minister. It is about Operation Fiela. Operation Fiela has been going on in many parts of the country, but specifically as from a refugee community background and the Somali community, we have been feeling that it is an operation against us as foreign nationals. The reason being, it has been conducted in many places where refugees and asylum seekers and foreign nationals dwell. I will give you an example. Belleville CBD, Mitchell Plain CBD, Coston, Port Elizabeth, Mayfair, and all those places. And those are the places where foreign nationals reside. I would like to ask the minister, is this operation against foreign nationals, or is it to restore peace and order? That's the first question. The second question is that I want to ask the minister also is about those people who are on appeals. There are many refugees and asylum seekers, let me say asylum seekers, who are on appeal for a long time. They have appeal hearing dates on their asylum section 22 papers, but there is no appeal hearing done for many years. I would like to know why those people on appeal hearing for a long time. Is the appeal board not working? That's my second question. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, let me have you. That's enough for now. Okay, let me just take the last one. The last one. Okay.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Minister. First of all, I would like to thank you for your time. And
please go to the question, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. But I have to thank the Honorable Minister. My question is, as the Home Affairs and the government at large, what are you planning to do on educating the South Africans about the advantages of foreign nationals and their skills that are coming here? And my second question is this Operation Fiela really about stopping crime, or is it against refugees? Because it's like having a problem with your husband or your wife, and then the moment you find your husband or your wife with cheating on you, and then you say, I've been waiting for having this thing introduced. Now, after xenophobia, why is it that Operation Fiela is coming up? Because it is purely against the foreign nationals, because there's a lot of corruption involved, and people are out there suffering because of this operation.
Okay.
And what is the Home Affairs doing about it? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your questions. Honorable Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much. Maybe just to comment on the experience of Guguletu, I do think that that is a wonderful initiative. In fact, next year when we host the Migrant Awards, which we hope to be able to do annually, last night when we were in the organizing meeting, we considered exactly such a, or we mooted such a plan for next year so that we can showcase our sports talent as well. And soccer seems to be the one thing that unites all of us. And so that's definitely on the cards. But it's gratifying to know that Gugulethu beat us to it. And we do hope that those efforts at social cohesion continue. Look, from the immigration practitioners, we've had several difficulties. I don't see the gentleman here anymore. Oh well. Educating South Africans on peace and security. You know, this is certainly one of my personal passions. I do think, as I said before, that we are a country in transition. We come from a past where part of our culture was, frankly, to disobey laws. We taught our kids this. We practiced it ourselves as part of our efforts to destabilize a regime that was racist and that was practicing a crime against humanity. Now, you can't be in that state for almost 300 years of colonialism and then suddenly, one day in 1994, cast your ballot and wake up the next day and you're a new person. It's a process. And it does start with our kids. And I do want to commend you. I don't know if you're a teacher, but I think that that is where I would start too. Whenever we address schools and as part of our, what we have, Motapila campaign, Motapile campaign, which we've launched within the Department of Home Affairs to firstly transform a lot of our service orientation aspects of our officials. One of the things that we have done is we've tried to also educate our schools in the vicinity of Home Affairs offices on what it means to be a good citizen. And we've done this in a very innovative way. We've taken people who were stalwarts of our struggle, people who you don't read about every single day in the newspaper, people who have long been forgotten by members of the public. And we've invited them to adopt these schools and mentor young people about good ethics, about good values, and certainly about what it means to be a good citizen. Because we felt that as much as we were transforming the department to produce state-of-the-art smart cards and so on, really doesn't help if people don't appreciate what that is. And so that's our small initiative. But the truth be known, nothing can prosper without peace and security. And this is where I think it was Janine who made the remark in her speech when she said a lot of people have to leave their countries and seek asylum in other countries because of a lack of peace and stability in their own countries. And ours is definitely a country of destination, but peace and stability must be continued to be harvested and sown. Appeal backlogs and asylum backlogs. Let me just say that the Premier alluded to in her speech the number of, I imagine she meant asylum seekers that we had, and certainly we were one of the countries, certainly in 2008 and 2009, we were the highest receiving country in the world, receiving upward of 250,000 at one stage per annum. This placed a huge strain on our administrative capacity. And we understood that a lot of it was because it was self-fulfilling. People applied and their cases were only adjudicated in 3, sometimes 4, sometimes 5 years. And we decided in 2011 to change this around. We had to take a tough decision. We said those applications that we've already received, we're not going to adjudicate. But the ones that we received today, we are going to fast track. The idea being that we did not want to add to our backlogs. We wanted to get onto what I call a current system where all applications can be adjudicated within 3 months. And this is not a small achievement. It's a huge achievement when you consider that an asylum seeker is somebody who claims to have been persecuted in their country of origin. We do not ask for documents. We do not ask for your ID when you arrive at our centers. We are not allowed to do so because we have signed an international convention without any reservations, unlike other countries. We have, since 2011, mid-2011 to now, had about 2 years of having achieved a 3-month turnaround on new applications. But this does not mean that that's the final verdict. When people get rejected, they are able to appeal to the Refugee Appeal Board. Unfortunately, due to a few factors, including the legislation which we're hoping to amend, the Refugee Board has to sit en banc. That means a single person cannot sit and deal with a single matter. 3 people or 2 people have to sit to deal with one matter. And that is enormously time-consuming and, of course, uses up huge amounts of capacity. What we are now going to do is we're going to ask Parliament to allow the Refugee Appeals Board to sit individually because they are all legally qualified and trained. That's going to free up a whole lot of capacity, in addition to which we have been speaking to the UNHCR about a backlog project in regard to the appeal process. Hopefully we will get some funding from them to deal with the backlog, understanding that we will not be adding to that backlog because we are able to meet the turnaround time for new applications. So we've been able to ring-fence that backlog, and we are aware that people have been waiting for some time. Section 24 permits being reviewed by SCRA. I imagine what you're talking about is SCRA's ability to affect a cessation on recognition of refugee status. The Act allows the Standing Committee to cease recognizing any person as a refugee when conditions in their country of origin have become normalized or indeed the basis on which they attained refugee status no longer exists. I am not aware of appointments being postponed and about the lack of capacity in compiling reports. I will have to engage the Standing Committee on Refugee Affairs about this, and we certainly will do that, and I undertake to do that. But I do know that the Standing Committee has got the power in terms of legislation to cease anybody's refugee status. Ubuntu, certainly that we can all do with more of it, and more spirituality, I imagine, too. Operation Fiela. The media certainly has taken the stance that Fiela is directed at foreign nationals. What I know of Fiela is that it's also been directed at South Africans. Hostels where South Africans are known to live have also been raided. The idea being, in the wake of the xenophobic attacks, one of the things that we seek to do is to ensure that people are disarmed, that illicit goods unlawful weapons, illegal guns, etc., are confiscated. And insofar as it pertains to cleaning up our communities and ridding our communities of either weapons or drugs or other illicit goods, understand that in South Africa we may have certain areas that are predominantly, I suppose, consists predominantly of foreign nationals, but in many areas, foreign nationals are part and parcel of our communities. And so if there is an operation in any community, and there will be continuing operations in various communities, well, foreign nationals will be part of those raids as well. As to us educating people on the skills that foreign nationals bring to South Africa, certainly that's one of the intentions behind the Migrant Awards that we'll be having next week, is to bring to the attention of ordinary South Africans across the board the contribution of our migrant communities in our country, in our communities, etc. So those are some of the things that we do. But as part of the discourse, of course, the larger discourse in relation to the immigration policy that I mentioned earlier, this aspect will certainly have to be given sufficient airing in our various roundtables, of which I think we've already had about 4 with different stakeholder groups. So at any stage, if any organization wishes to participate in the roundtables, please submit your details to our policy unit. The details of that unit would be on our website, and you'll be sure to then receive an invitation as well. And that goes to the audience as well. Thank you very much. I forgot the issue of corruption. I just wanted to address very quickly. You know, ever since I became deputy minister and particularly was made responsible for asylum matters in November of 2010, some of the first discussions I had was around corruption at our refugee centers. I personally went with some of my staff members very early on, before people could recognize me, and stood in queues in Marabastad pretending to be an asylum seeker, to see firsthand whether in fact I would be approached for a bribe. And continuously since that time, I get people saying that there's corruption either in our offices or immigration agents telling me that our immigration officials are corrupt. And my response is always the same. If you know of somebody who is corrupt, please come forward and tell me about it and be prepared to give evidence in a court of law. I don't think that is asking too much, unless we have a situation which we have, and I think we all know. It takes 2 people to be corrupt. It takes somebody to offer a bribe, and then it takes somebody to accept a bribe. And this is exactly the kind of insecurity that we don't need in the country. We have insisted that every official of Home Affairs wears a name tag, so nobody can hide behind being anonymous in our offices. There is no excuse that people will come to me, as they used to in 2010, to say, there was an official, I don't know his name, but he came to me and he asked me for a bribe. When we started asking our officials to wear name tags, suddenly no names were brought to my attention. I repeat my invitation to one and all. If we are so concerned about corruption, then each of us must be brave enough to stand up against it and be prepared to tackle it. And I, for one, have made this undertaking over and over again. Should you do so, I will spare no effort to make sure that justice is done. And that you have my word on. Thank you very much.
It is really my honor to thank everybody. And I think for you to leave also, and I think Minister, Deputy Minister can also take it to our Education Minister, is that we need to look at our curriculum. We need to have African studies more in our curriculum as per se, because our students don't even know where is our states or where we are, which languages, how, and next time we will definitely sing the AU national anthem, so that we as part that we can really look at and be Africans. To South Africans, I want to say, let's start with a campaign, we are Africans. We must stop this, that we are not saying that it's them, it's us. As all the speakers has echoed tonight, is about humanity. It is about how are we respecting each other, and how are we going to look at the livelihood of another human being. Africa is us, nobody else. It's us. And we want to appeal to all citizens. It's not just about a leadership and about leaders. It's about us that's going to make the difference on the ground. Deputy Minister, thank you very much for making the time to come in your busy schedule. It shows us that you do believe, and it shows us that you want to share the policies of our nation to everybody. And I think let's adhere to her call that we make an input, because we can always be so complacent that we hear the call for inputs, but we never go to the centers to make the inputs. The time of blaming is over. The time that we're going to say government is only going to make that difference is also over. It starts with us. To the other panelists, thank you very much. We could hear you applied your mind. I think for the skilled foreign nationals in South Africa, let's take it forward. It's not just about your issue, it's about we are Africa's issues. This is what we are about. We as a continent needs to show that we believe in ourselves. It's about, do we believe in ourselves? Do we know who we are? And this is the journey that we need to undertake as Africans. Let's rise and have a moment of silence to everybody on our continent that has suffered at the hands of somebody else. And that we pledge here tonight that we will ensure that this can't continue. I thank you. Safe journey home.